Today, we're going to be checking out the Ceriatone Leviathan. So if anyone isn't familiar with Ceriatone, they are an amp company based out of Malaysia, and they've kind of made their name as a modded Marshall amp company. Essentially, they put out their own mods of Marshall amps and Marshall style amplifiers. For the most part, they have some other stuff as well. They've also done some of their own clones and copies of guitar pedals like the Klon. So the Leviathan, this is a Leviathan 100 I'm going to be checking out, and it's sold as like a hot rodded Plexi. It also reminds me a lot of like some of the features you'd maybe find in like a Friedman, especially a Friedman butter slacks. They also have a lot of the same looks, and I'm able to get a lot of the same kind of tones out of them from when I've played butter slacks amps before. So it really reminds me a lot of that amplifier in particular. Now the Leviathan is a 3-channel amplifier with a bunch of different features and modifications on it to get a bunch of different tonal options. And I'm going to try to go over those as concisely as I can so we can get to some in and out of mix examples and hear what all this stuff does. To start with, the clean channel is the only channel that doesn't have a shared EQ. Channel 2 and channel 3 both share an EQ, but the clean channel gets to have its own. Now, the clean channel isn't super clean. It's more of a push clean, and the more you turn up the gain, you can get into some classic rock, classic Plexi tones, which is awesome. But if you're looking for something more crystal clean, this might not be for you, but I happen to really like that kind of push clean on the verge of breakup sound. So I really like this clean channel. Now channels 2 and 3, like I said, share an EQ. They're called heavy and heavier. Essentially, channel 2 has gain and channel 2 has even more gain. There's also the bright switches, the clip switch, and the mid switch. Now the mid switch is extremely powerful. When you're flipping around with the mid boost, you can actually go for more of a scooped kind of sound to kind of like it's more of an upper mid kind of thing, but there's still not a ton of overall mids. It's just a huge mid boost, which is actually pretty cool. Really, you don't need a boost on, especially in channel 3. You can just flip that mid boost up, turn up your gain a bit, and get everything dialed into where you want it. No overdrive needed, and you got some really cutting, very modern sounding tones, but out of a Plexi style amp. And don't be fooled, just because channel 3 has the most gain doesn't mean that channel 2 doesn't have plenty of its own gain. If you turn it up and really start to push the mid-range, you could do plenty of modern metal rhythm tones just with that, and then use channel 3 as, say, a lead channel. Although I like to use channel 2 as more of a crunch and then get all my high gain stuff out of channel 3. There's also a series effects loop in the back, and it has volume control, which I think is really handy. See, these amps, this amp in particular, really loud. Marshall style amps, really loud amplifiers, and have basically volume attenuation on the back. It's not like attenuating the power amp. It's just before your preamp stage hits the power amp, you can turn the volume down. And that's really handy. That'll allow you just from one turn of a knob to essentially have a master volume control before you hit the master output. And that means you can get bedroom volumes while keeping everything essentially the same. And I think that's a pretty good idea. So that's enough of me talking about the amp. Let's actually hear what this amp sounds like. We're gonna hear it inside of a mix and outside of a mix. It's gonna be going into an IR of my DV77 mic'd with a Royer ribbon microphone and an SM57. And I'm gonna be playing through that with my Les Paul with a bare knuckle Miracle Man pickup in the bridge. Let's check it out. So I would definitely like to check out more from Ceriatone. I have been really impressed with this amplifier. I really like how it sounds. I immediately get kind of modded Marshall, Friedman vibes out of it. I immediately got Mastodon vibes, just plugging it in and setting everything basically to noon and then kind of dialing it in where I wanted it. I really, really dig these tones. I think that it really nails what it's going for, and the build quality is pretty spot on. Hopefully I get to check out more of them on the channel. Thanks for watching. Stay metal.